Logan Nichols is our next speaker, followed by Caroline Hawley, and Jackie Crabb is on deck.
Thank you for your time. Good morning. My name is Logan Nichols. I own Peacock Farms in Aurora Grande. We specialize in vine-ripened tomatoes, and we sell at 6 local farmers markets, and I also service 15 local restaurants with my produce. In the last 3 years, we've seen a decline in profitability in the tomato industry, so we took it upon ourselves to try and do something else, and so we obtained a minor use permit to do weddings on our farm. The extra wedding income has kept us in our house and on our farm farming. It was a huge benefit. Not only from the extra income that it was generated from the events themselves, but we are doing a really good job of branding our product, using the farmers markets to help advertise for the wedding industry, using the wedding industry to advertise for our farmers markets. We also sell quite a bit of our product to wedding professionals and vendors that participate in events at our property, as well as some cut flowers. I do a small plot of land for cut flowers, and we sell to the florists that come out to our property. Having just getting done with the minor use permit process, I really believe in the current system that exists. It's very stringent, it's very thorough. Traffic concerns were addressed with left-hand turn lanes, sight distance, all of that was included in the traffic studies that had to be done. Community advisory councils were dealt with, and I did presentations in front of community advisory councils. All of the environmental factors which are expensive to have the studies done, but they were very thorough and very complete. All of that gets addressed in the current minor use permit process. So you're going to hear a lot today about dollars and cents and jobs lost, and I want to give you a different perspective on that the minor use permit process that is currently in place is effective and it works. And I feel like changing it isn't going to solve the problem. I think the problem is getting everybody in compliance currently so that there aren't complaints, so there aren't dust issues, so that you don't have neighbors complaining about things, because all of that was taken care of in the minor use permit process. And in closing, I think as a farmer, it would be an injustice if I didn't have that opportunity to advance our operation and keep my family in my house. So picking out ag land and saying that just because your land is zoned ag, you can't go ahead with getting a minor use permit is really unfair and unjust. And I would hope that you would not go ahead with this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Carolyn Hawley is next, followed by Jackie Crabb, and Chris O'Connor is on deck.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Hawley, and I represent Central Coast Bride, a marketing magazine and a wedding planning magazine for brides. Since we help a wide range of local wedding professionals in the marketing of their business, they share many of their business concerns with us. As the economy turned, many told us that their corporate events had decreased, some by as much as 100%. And the only reason they were able to survive this period was because of the weddings. In ordinary times, this ordinance would result in significant loss to income. However, in the current economic climate, the damage that implementation of this ordinance would cause would be tragic. A number of businesses have shared with us that as much as 90% of their wedding work takes place on ag properties. 90%. Taking away their ability to continue working weddings on ag properties would most certainly be the final blow, leading to the folding of many, many small businesses. I am opposed to this restrictive ordinance because it would cause significant damage to a large number of businesses, and not just wedding-related businesses. As you heard earlier, the ripple effect out into the overall economy is huge because businesses receiving wedding dollars spend them on local produce, local flowers, mortgages, taxes, and so on. In 2008, our local wedding industry generated $93 million in economic value to the county. In addition, because of the natural beauty and favorable climate of our area, we attract destination weddings. This results in an estimated additional $70 million to the local economy. What better industry is there to help sustain a county that wants to maintain its natural beauty and lifestyle? Weddings are temporary. It is a very clean industry. There are no industrial factories, there's no hazardous waste, they emit very low amounts of greenhouse gases, they do not tax our limited water resources, and they employ our local citizens. Once the event is over, the guests return home, up to 50% of them to areas outside of the county. So like the standard tourist, they visit, spend money, and then leave the area, and the additional population is not to be dealt with. What better way for a county without a large amount of industry to help support its population, its government, and its nonprofits? There are some counties that spend millions of dollars to attract this type of industry to their area. SLO County, on the other hand, has been blessed with a vibrant local and destination wedding industry. We oppose this ordinance. We find it restrictive and not in the nature of the original intent. We ask that the Planning Commission return the ordinance to the Board of Supervisors, and we ask that the Board of Supervisors join with us in cultivating this clean and thriving industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hawley. Jackie Crabb is our next speaker, followed by Chris O'Connor. Sandy Segerson is on.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jackie Crabb with the Farm Bureau. We've been very discouraged on the direction this draft has been going, and one of the points we'd like to raise is special events. Right now, special events can be held on ag land, and you are taking it away. It seems that we are caught up on the definition of secondary and incidental. With the draft that went before you in May, addressed that, and it said that if you are to hold any of these events on agricultural land, you had to have 90 to 95% of your land had to be in production, continual production, and that it had a max of 5 acres that you could use to hold these events. Unfortunately, you have gone to the direction of reinterpreting our policy on secondary and incidental for AGP 6 and saying that it has to relate to agriculture. What you have done now is you have 2 interpretations of AGP 6 on what secondary and incidental means, because the winery ordinance and the nonprofits can now hold these events. We are also concerned with the nonprofits. We are looking at that very carefully. We see that you don't have the landowner charge them. There's no permit required. That sounds great. However, at some point, the number of people attending is going to require a permit, and you addressed it, or at least the commissioners in December addressed it and said that they wanted consistency and that 300 would be the max, and that anything beyond that would require a permit. That permit is going to cost money, and then the farmers and ranchers are going to have to eat that cost because they have no way of charging the nonprofit, nor will they have the ability to hold any special events to recoup. We're concerned why you are not using our current winery ordinance as the model. There's constant reference to Napa. And I'm glad that you're going to talk about the content of the 2 drafts that were before you at the last meeting. We're discouraged that you have taken on the Ag Tourism Coalition draft and its content. There are some changes in it that you need to look at. One is that education has been removed from the ability of the farmer and rancher and it's been handed over to the nonprofits. Second, you have a clause in there that says that if you break any law in the state of California or any of the ordinances, your permit will be revoked and there's no nexus to the ordinance. We urge that you send this back to the Board of Supervisors so that they can look at and help us out in this problem that we're having, and hopefully they'll be able to give us some guidance. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Crabb.